Being a YouTuber is a dream job for a lot of people, and I don't blame them for thinking of it that way. However, as someone who is critical of others online, one of the greatest fears I and many others have is that someone we talk about will be upset and take us up in court over it. In the past, even making fun of someone in a comedic way has led angry film directors and YouTubers alike to take down videos and sometimes take people to court because they don't like that someone made fun of them online, which is the subject of today's video.
There is so many lies and just misinformation on the internet about copyright infringement and fair use. So I want to make this video to show you the difference between the two right there.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
Cool Cat Saves the Kids is a children's movie released in 2015, which follows the life of Cool Cat, an anthropomorphic feline who spends his time hanging out with middle schoolers. Around the time of the movie's release, it became somewhat infamous in the film community for its questionable acting and overall quality, leading some of the film review community to discuss it on their own channels, namely Your Movie Sucks and I Hate Everything. These videos were extremely critical of the movie, but regardless of their messaging, they fell completely within fair use and fair dealing laws. In a nutshell, in cases of alleged copyright infringement, fair use establishes that critics can legally use the copyrighted content of someone else without their permission, so long as their own work is transformative. In simple terms, this means that legally, videos by movie reviewers are their own works as long as they add to the original work and make it their own in a meaningful way. There's been a lot of talk about this on YouTube over the past 5 years, because of a few specific cases where fair use has been used as a legal defense against those claiming that they are stealing their copyrighted material. The videos about Cool Cat by YMS and IHE are completely transformative from the original work, providing criticism and commentary that make it their own. Despite this, Alex's video about Cool Cat was removed from YouTube via their copyright system, giving him a strike on his channel.
It's just, you're fucked. Have a good time.
He attempted to repeal the strike, swiftly receiving a response from the movie's director, Derek Savage.
If that troll punk ever does anything Cool Cat related again, then I can legally have his entire YouTube channel deleted. Huh. Weird.
Alex posted a video to his channel bringing attention to the situation, which was the start of a public controversy that would see the entire YouTube community get on board with Alex to defend him, and simultaneously hang Derek in the public square, which, given some of his responses, may have been kind of deserved. This was only made even worse by the discovery from Adam of Your Movie Sucks that Derek was in fact impersonating a law firm in order to intimidate Alex. Luckily for everyone involved, this never escalated beyond bluffing from Derek, and no one ever even set foot in a courtroom during the entire debacle. Derek's misappropriation and misunderstanding of the laws around the situation was ultimately never a serious legal threat, and instead anger that people didn't like his cringy movie. The only real loss was to Derek himself, as I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks only went on to be even more successful. And Derek, rather than being the lovable creator of a terrible movie, became the hateable director of a terrible movie who uses fake legal threats when people say mean things about his work. It also allowed YMS to break down to his audience why his content is legally justifiable, and why Derek was full of shit. But there are plenty of instances where real legal action was taken, such as with Zack Sweers of Anxiety War.
You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off.
Anxiety War is a YouTube channel dedicated to stopping sexual predators, where the host of the show, Zack, poses as a young girl on a variety of apps to catch a predator style. After having conversations with adult men looking to have sex with someone way too young for them, he confronts them in person and films the entire interaction, before posting the recording onto his YouTube channel for all to see and sending it to law enforcement. At one point, he even posed as a 14-year-old boy in real life, changing his posture, voice, shaving his face, etc., all to confront an alleged predator in person.
Dude, you knew I was 13 and you still wanted to do this?
Well, I don't want to push anything.
You don't want to push anything?
Yeah.
But it's okay if a 13-year-old agrees to it.
Well, yeah.
Why?
I mean, the law would say no.
The law would say no. You know why, right? That's right. Because minors should not make these types of choices.
As of June 2016, 7 people had been charged as a result of Zack's work. Unfortunately, as you can probably imagine, some of the predators he caught weren't very pleased with the outcome. Zachary Snoyink and Alistair Kolk filed a lawsuit against Sweers, claiming that he had invaded their privacy and defamed them. Obviously, this didn't exactly tug at the heartstrings of people, given how both of the men in question had been recorded on camera by Zack. Meeting up with him for what they had been led to believe was was going to be sex with an underage girl. Zack posted a video to his channel where he talked about the situation and started up a GoFundMe to raise money for his legal defense. Clearly showing no signs of backing down, litigation eventually ended in August of 2016. According to his lawyers, Sweers vigorously defended the claims and was prepared to file motions to dismiss the lawsuit. The parties agreed that society would be better served if the unused funds generated by Sweers' GoFundMe page were donated to a charity that benefits victims of sexual abuse. As such, a donation will be made to the Children's Assessment Center and the YWCA. The attorney of the men that Zack targeted in his video said nothing in response other than that the claims had been settled, although we can assume that there was some kind of compromise made between Sweers and the opposition, as the videos themselves about Kulk and Snowyank have now been removed from his YouTube channel. Something of note, however, is that as of the lawsuit's conclusion, Snowyank had been charged, although later given probation and registry as a sex offender, and Kulk had remained innocent in the eyes of the law. However, in February of 2017, Kulk was sentenced to 1 year and 9 months to 15 years in prison for unlawful sexual interactions he had with a minor 2 years prior. While law enforcement has said that the case is unrelated to Sweers' work, I think we'd be a little naive to say that he didn't play any part in the domino effect that led to this guy being incarcerated. In exchange, I decided to buy some anxiety war stickers.
No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract.
Matt Haas is a YouTuber responsible for the Matt Haas Zone channel, which became the subject of one of Ethan and Hila Klein's reaction videos back in 2015. In the video, the two mocked a somewhat cringy skits where he would pick up women on the street, much to the disappointment and apparent anger of Matt Haas. But, unlike the behavior of Derek Savage, this ended up resulting in some serious legal action. Matt Haas officially took Ethan and Hila to court over copyright infringement, and they were under the impression that it was going to be quickly thrown out because of the lunacy of the claims. However, this ended up resulting in a 1.5 year long lawsuit and tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Matt's lawyers argued that H3 had infringed upon his copyrighted material, while H3 would argue that their videos clearly fell under the aforementioned fair use laws in the United States. The public perception of the case was that Ethan and Hila were completely in the right and had done nothing wrong, therefore they should win, with everyone rallying behind them. If they won, it would mean that YouTubers posting critical videos about other people would officially be fair use in the eyes of the law. If they lost, it would open up the door for potentially hundreds of other lawsuits from people upset that their videos, or content in general, were negatively reviewed by commentary channels. Sure, to us it's obvious that Matt's case was terrible, but would a potentially out-of-touch court even see it that way? What if somehow Matt was able to manipulatively portray to an older audience that he was some kind of victim here? And on top of that, Ethan and Hila wouldn't be able to fight Haas alone. They would need thousands of dollars to pay for legal fees. Ultimately, this is where the community came together to help them. YouTube newsman Philip DeFranco launched the Fair Use Protection Account, or FUPA, a fund with the explicit purpose of helping to defend YouTubers against copyright holders who take them to court. As said in Time magazine, Philip DeFranco, who launched the crowdfunding page, said he steps in to prevent a terrible precedent from being set that he fears could silence other creators. This is something that hits close to home, DeFranco said. It's horrible for all of us. This isn't just a channel for them to post videos. This is their livelihood. This fund was extremely important to YouTube at the time, and it managed to raise more than $170,000 for its cause of protecting YouTubers from these kinds of copyright bullies like Matt Haas. But as the case went on, it was apparent that the legal action was affecting Ethan in a pretty negative way, with videos they posted at the time describing how it made their life extremely miserable.
I feel like this year's probably been so far the most miserable of my life that I can remember.
Thankfully for Ethan and Hila and the YouTube community, this ended very favorably for them, with the case setting an important precedent for reaction content on YouTube. Additionally, much like in the case of I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks, the case ended up boosting the community's respect for Ethan and Hila, with thousands of dollars raised for their legal fund, not to mention the respect that they garnered for the couple fighting for the YouTube community. But not everything went as well as the initial assessment would lead you to believe. Around a year ago, a lot of people began asking the question, what happened to FUPA? Where is the money?
How about you look at the fucking FUPA fund? When has that shit been active? It's sitting there with $0 in the fund, and he ain't doing shit with it. It wasn't even active at all. Yes, a fund designed to help YouTubers fight fair use issues. I guess it's not here anymore. I guess it's not functioning. Hey, shit, we forgot about it.
The Twitter account dedicated to the fund had been completely inactive, and there was no involvement from FUPA in any litigation since then. Well, Ethan actually posted a video to his channel where he talked about the fund last year.
But as the bills started piling up, and we soon realized that if we kept helping people, we were going to run out of money and be in a bad situation with the lawsuit, which was the entire purpose that people donated in the first place. It was our moral imperative to fight and win this lawsuit for the whole community. Over a year passed, and we depleted all of the money in the account.
So unfortunately, while well-intentioned, FUPA was ultimately a failure in its goal of helping the community for years to come. What could have been a solid deterrent against people and companies who abuse the copyright system was ultimately far too ambitious in scope. While the clients had been saved, anyone else in the same boat, lest they have hundreds of thousands of dollars at their disposal ready, would be left without a life jacket.
Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days.
I'm not trying to brag. My IQ level's 189. That is a very high IQ, okay?
Comedy Shorts Gamer, or Deji, is no stranger to controversy, being the brother of KSI, who he's gotten into a lot of public feuds with. In May of 2020, accusations began surfacing of him supposedly subbotting his channel. Subbotting is the practice of a YouTuber spending money on a service in order to artificially increase their public subscriber count on YouTube. Oftentimes, when there is an irregularity in a channel's analytics, accusations of subbotting begin to fly. What makes the case of Deji so unique is the overwhelming body of evidence against him, which in the eyes of many has proven that he did in fact buy subscribers for his channel. On May 17th of 2020, the channel Freeway Social posted a video explaining that Deji had purchased subscribers from their site, providing receipts to claim that he had bought subscribers in order to meet the 10 million threshold.
However, I can confirm that he bought those subscribers, and I can confirm that because he bought them from freewaysocial.com, which is run by me.
The next obvious question would be to ask why the guy who runs a botting service would expose Deji for this. Wouldn't that jeopardize his business? According to him, Deji bought the subscribers to reach 10 million, but lost a number of his naturally gained subscribers due to a video he uploaded where he claimed that he had COVID-19. After losing these subs, he assumed that this was a result of Freeway Social's service failing rather than his own failings, leading him to request a refund through PayPal, which he received. As a result, Thomas from Freeway Social decided to expose him for lying because they provided a service and he then took the money back. While we can't know why Deji did this or what he thought the outcome would be here, we can infer that he thought that they would never expose him, either because they thought that their service had actually failed, or because of the nature of their business, he thought that they would never expose a client. What he probably should have realized is that when you fuck over someone shady who is openly operating a scummy business, they have no reason not to drag you down in the process. Enter Kavos.
I'm not even thinking about what would happen if the bloke just pulled out and his hot load spewed all over the baby, giving him his first facial when he's only the young age of a few months. I'm not thinking about that.
Kavos is a commentary channel who has been very critical of Deji in the past, and quickly jumped on the story when news of it came out, posting a video to YouTube to claim that Deji had in fact lied and that he was botting subscribers. Deji did not like this. On May 19th of 2020, Deji tweeted out, "Guys, thank you for all your support. Everything is in the hands of my legal team." This is somewhat vague as we don't know exactly who or what this legal team was dealing with, but with the timing, it would seem that this had something to do with the subbotting allegations. In June of 2020, Kavos responded to a fan on Twitter asking him what happened to the Deji videos, where he said that there was legal complaints and that they were temporarily taken down. Unfortunately, this case is a little more tragic than the others we're going to discuss today. While Kavos is clearly in the right from my perspective, his videos have been removed and he hasn't said anything about the situation since then, presumably because some legal action between Deji and him resulted in an agreement where he had to be silent about it. Clearly here, the system failed to do what was right, and Deji took a very short-term win. However, I think it is fair to say that everyone who already didn't know about this and now does has lost a lot of respect for Deji, and the people who already didn't like him have only been given more reason to criticize his actions. John Swan and Nicholas Diorio recently did a collaborative video series where they re-examined the allegations and clearly outlined why they believe that Deji did subbot. There'll be links in the description for anyone interested in checking them out.
It's all about the he says, she says bullshit.
Sargon of Akkad is a political YouTube channel run by Carl Benjamin, an English man who became extremely popular during the Gamergate controversy and a subsequent skeptic community blow-up of 2014 and 2015. One of Sargon's main shticks during the 2016 election was to make fun of liberals and what he called a SJW, a group of people who he saw as ridiculous and ideologically bankrupt. Akilah Hughes is a comedian who was very openly supportive of the Hillary campaign during the 2016 election, and posted a video online during election night titled, "We Thought She Would Win." The 10-minute video showed Akilah at Hillary's election night party, which was then cut into a 2-minute video and posted to Sargon's channel, where you can see her describe her feelings towards the election and how she had slowly come to the realization that Hillary was not going to win. The video is technically clips of Akilah's video without explicit audio commentary from Sargon, but the way that he arranges the clips and the title clearly repurposes the content to be critical in nature and show that he was transforming it in a meaningful way, even if it isn't necessarily transformative in the same way that someone like H3 would transform a video. Akilah didn't like Sargon's video very much though, deciding to take him to court court over it. The lawsuit ended up lasting 3 years, and Akilah got plenty of backlash for it, but she continued to spread her message and claim that Sargon was breaking the law, which unfortunately did not end in her favor.
Hi guys, so I thought I'd better give you an update on the Akilah Hughes lawsuit, because I'm sure there are a lot of people already talking about it because the news seems to have got out. But my lawyer did indeed yesterday receive a check for about $38,000, which was what she was ordered to pay me by the judge. So the case has concluded, and frankly, I'm glad that it's over. It's stressful.
According to Bloomberg News, it was unmistakable that the video was designed to highlight and critique Hughes' alleged lack of self-awareness, not to pass off her work as Benjamin's. The court said Hughes admitted on Twitter and her website that she intended to bankrupt Benjamin and use copyright laws to silence her political opponents and critics. Hughes' social media posts about the case also suggested that she intended to sensationalize the litigation to elevate her own public profile and achieve a secondary financial gain. It's apparent here that a lot of what cost Akilah the case was that her motivations were ultimately to make Sargon look bad and try to ruin him rather than to actually do the right thing and go after someone who she believed was breaking the law. At the conclusion of the court case, Akilah took to Twitter to state that Sargon was a white supremacist who had stolen her video and was expressly using his platform to arouse 4chan white supremacists to harass her. And while Sargon has said a lot of wacky stuff, I have to still side with him here, because ultimately that's irrelevant to the case. Even if Sargon is sexist or racist, that's not illegal, and I don't think it should be. And it has no bearing on the video he uploaded on her, which also has no reference to race and has nothing to do with race. And evidently, she's still hung up on her losing the case, which to me seems to be less motivated by Sargon ripping off her content and more about him supposedly being a white supremacist. She continues to send emails to platforms to get him banned, and has tried to even contact PayPal and GoFundMe. And props to her for sticking to her opinion despite the backlash, I guess. I just think that her opinion is wrong. And while I know a lot of people don't like Sargon and may have some very valid reasons to criticize him, I still think that this is an important case, and I'm very glad that he won. Had he not, it could have set a very unfortunate precedent for videos of his nature. And frankly, I also find Akilah to be very annoying and self-righteous and dishonest, so it does make me kind of happy to see him win. Good for you, Carl.
And that means if a woman is being a giant bitch and laughing at male suicide, I'm gonna be a giant dick back to her. Any question?
I don't agree with the basic politics or messages of everyone I've talked about in this video. I have an hour-long video on my channel with 1 million views about H3H3, where I was extremely critical of him. But what I do hate is people taking others to court over copyright infringement when they're really just upset about someone saying mean words online. This has happened time and time again, and each time it's even more infuriating to see people who did nothing wrong have vacuums pressed to their banks by greedy, lying little rats who want people to stop calling them weird or whatever their issues are. If there's a lesson to be learned from this case as a whole, it's don't take people to court just because you're butthurt. And if the ethical argument alone as to why it's wrong isn't convincing enough for you, simply look to the legacy of people like Matt Haas, Akilah, and Derek Savage. It's not worth it.
But I want to state this for a fact, and listen closely to me. You are being lied to. You are being treated just like you're a little stinking punk. You're being deceived. I'm going to milk it for everything I can. And that's exactly what's happening. You are being milked. You're being treated like you're a big fat cow is what you're doing.
I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.